What's up, everybody? Welcome to Dragon Riders Media. I am your host, Ben Scene, aka Dragon Rider, baby. Got another behind the bullshit podcast for you guys today, man. And man, I can't even man. I'm at a loss for words for the guest that I have with us today, man. It's been a big honor, man, to have this guy, especially for us in the crypto world, man. He's a big advocate of cryptocurrency and stuff like that, man. So without further ado, let's welcome to the stage Mr. Gary Cardone.
What up? What up? Been saying good to be here with you, man.
How you doing, man? How you doing? It's been a great day
Good.
today, man.
Dude,
Bitcoin actually hit
73,261. I'm good.
Is it right now? Oh man, see, I'm behind. Last I looked, it was just over 72, man. So yes, let's go, baby. So yeah,
we got 73.2 on big volume.
Oh wow.
So we've literally had if you look at the 2-hour chart, you've had literally since Sunday at about 10 during the rally, Bitcoin really started going crazy from 66.9 and now it's 73. It's beginning to factor in my opinion, a Trump win. If you guys aren't going to vote,
yes,
don't buy any Bitcoin. Okay, don't be a ding dong. Don't buy Bitcoin and then don't vote. I mean, what are you thinking? Okay, you've had a draconian SEC. You've had a draconian government for the last 4 years. They hate Bitcoin. They hate you. They don't want you to have freedom. You have to get out and vote. Okay, you can't sit on $12 of Bitcoin or $12 million of Bitcoin and not take further action. It's an insurance policy, guys.
Absolutely, man. That is very correct, man. It's literally been a war on not just cryptocurrency, but our entire financial institutions and it's just on society at that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just there. It almost seems like there's no such thing as a middle class anymore.
There isn't a middle class, dude. It's poor and rich.
It's crazy that how we came to this point. You know, and how we allowed as a society allowed our government to really just upturn things for us as, you know, as citizens.
Yep. So you can have a bunch of Bitcoin. I have a saying, and it's like if I have 1,000 Bitcoin and I have no freedom, I have no Bitcoin. If I have no Bitcoin, because I disagree, fix the money and you fix the world. If you fix freedom and you fix free speech and platforms are allowed that you and I can commune on and educate and help each other, since the government has let us down so badly in every institution, without the right for you to listen to anyone. Like, what if they decide, hey, we don't want Gary providing free education. He's a rich guy, but we don't want him being able to come on here and spend 2 hours a day helping people think about how to vision, manifest, create wealth, create success, create prosperity without harming anyone else, without trapping someone or taking advantage. No, like, only bad people don't want a guy like me sharing my experience. And your generation and my generation have been let down by the elders, the people that came before us. We outsourced this to the government. We gave them $80 billion in federal funding, for education, which they have no business in the education system, in my opinion. But it hasn't worked, man. We have all bad stats. If this was a company reporting quarterly earnings, we would have fired every person in every division without doubt. Okay, you would not allow Nancy Pelosi to make $140 million. What has she done? Like, I don't think you guys care. If I would join the administration, I'll take zero. But I don't think you guys would care if I helped build $1 trillion valuation for a division. Hell, pay me, man. Okay, but all the insider trading needs to go away. Gary comes in for 2 years, helps. Cool, man. I get some bonds in the U.S. government. I don't know. There's so many different ways to do this, but without incentives that you can clearly see from these politicians what they're making and how they're making it, Like you guys should be revolting in the streets, man. I mean, like
Yeah,
revolting, but you don't do it violently, right? You do it with your credit card.
absolutely.
You look at the neighbor down the street and you go, you know what? He's part of that club. I ain't spending money with him anymore. Um, so we really need to like take action. We've gotten really lazy over the last, 3 or 4 decades,
Yes.
and we get 85 million people to vote for Trump, dude. You're going to make a lot of money in the next 4 years.
Hey,
We,
I
we
was
have
I was
to
making good money
destroy this
before.
thing. Yeah,
Well, I
well,
was making good money when he was in the first time, man. I mean, it was
yeah.
great.
But then what happened, man? What happened? What's the last 4 years been like?
It's been terrible. It's absolute chaos, massive overspending. I mean, they try to blame it on, that's the go-to. Oh, we inherited this from Trump. Now, actually, no, they inherited some great numbers from Trump, and it's just they just dwindled everything down to almost nothing. I mean, you have the bricks on a war path on the dollar. You know what I'm
Yeah, but I
saying?
mean,
It's
well, look, dude. I mean, like, if you keep telling your neighbors that, when they drive down the street, you throw nails in front of their car so they get flat tires. If you keep blocking their access to the U.S. dollar, embargoes, sanctions, terrorist acts, what do you think they're going to do? I mean, if you just if any American, which is less than 0.1%, were to actually listen to another world leader like Vladimir Putin, he
yeah,
will explain the story very well. What's happening? We are literally poking the bear in the eye over and over and over again. Then we say, hey, by the way, you can't sell crude oil to Europe. You can't sell nat gas to Europe.
yeah.
And guess what he does, dude? He takes those barrels and he moves them around the world. He pays some guy in Switzerland that creates an LLC that allows him to buy Russian crude oil or nat gas, and then they sell it to the Indian market or the Chinese market for a discount. Not one kilowatt, not one decatherm stops flowing. It just moves through the system. The problem is these idiot politicians who think they can throw NATO at every solution. They don't understand that if you keep messing with the fucking supply chain, it will permanently find its way to another market, which is exactly what it's doing when it says, hey, we're going to light up bricks, dude. This is 30 years of Visa and MasterCard turning the Russians off with
Yeah.
24 hours notice. Then they do sanctions, then they do embargoes, then they blow pipes up. And I think you've got China, Russia, Brazil, and a number of different countries. And if
The
I'm Turkey,
UAE.
bro, if I'm Turkey, I am most certainly going to buy an option into the BRICS because I am piggy in the fucking middle of a shit show. I've got NATO hanging on my back. I've got them sticking nukes on my territory. And they're probably looking around going, man, like if the dollar's pulled out from under my bed, I have no way to produce money. Look, I think Turkey buys Bitcoin. I think Turkey will be one of the first countries, big countries, that put Bitcoin on their balance sheet. I've been saying this 2 years
Oh,
because
nice.
where they are geopolitically situated. And this is going to be, hopefully it's going to be good for Bitcoin. It will be good for Bitcoin either way, but hopefully this is going to be good for America. We can repair this if we start to look at what we've been doing that's just not been working well. And what I like about Trump, he likes competition. I've not heard him say, hey, we need to clip the Chinese. What I've
Absolutely.
what I've heard is, hey man, let's level the balance, let's level the playing field. If you won't let me sell EVs in your country, you ain't gonna sell them in my country. That's fair. That's not an
It is.
embargo. Okay, Mark Cuban. That's not what the guy meant, idiot.
Well, see that there goes with the everybody wants to toss around the word like misinformation and stuff like that, but the thing is they are withholding so much information from the people. It's like that's why they're wanting to silence platforms like this. They're wanting to silence platforms like X and stuff like that. Is because people are communicating with each other, and as long as we continue to communicate with each other, it destroys their narrative. They
That's
can't
right.
continue the same thing over and over and over, because people are starting to realize, wait a minute, they say this or they didn't say this. They only gave me part of the story, but here I can go to X and see the whole story. And it's like X is going X in my opinion is going to be the considered eventually like the if it hasn't already mainstream media. Because as we see in all of these debates and stuff like that, it's very, very biased. It's very hush hush on particular things. If it's not exactly aligned with what they once said, they cut you off. They cut you off. They clip it out, and and a lot of people would make better decisions, especially when it comes to their welfare, the way they vote and stuff like that, if they had access to all bits and pieces of information. As long as you cut it out and they only see one little soundbite here and they're like, like, that man's bad,
Yeah.
and it's like you can't make a conscious decision on going that route.
Yeah.
And that's why
No,
they're trying to eliminate all this.
Yep. I agree with you, man.
Absolutely. So, but before we get too far, because man, we can go down this rabbit hole all day. But let's get a little bit of background on yourself, man. Where are you from, and how'd you get into business?
Grew up in Lake Charles, Louisiana, a little refining town, maybe, I don't know, 70,000 people. Studied marketing and economics, left college when I was 21. I mean, the day I finished, my mom had already kicked me and Grant out of the house because we were so radically disrespectful. I'm going to try to stream this to my audience also. Let's see if this works.
No problem.
And let's see what happened. Grant stayed around because he was gonna, I think, well, he was pretty deep into drugs at the time. I wasn't so much, though. I was a bit of a, I was a kid. I was immature. Went to Houston, Texas. Asked my sister to introduce me to some people in the oil and gas business. I didn't have a dad. My dad died when I was 8 or 9 years old, and I would spend the next, say, 12 years really kind of very lost. I probably 16, 17 years just not having a mentor or anybody to look to, and nobody showed up. My mom took a radical, I ain't going to do the husband thing again because I had a stepmom and she hated it. So Grant and I grew up without any alpha around us. We were the alpha. And we would chew most people up into pieces. I go to Houston, get a job, asked a man, hey, this is my resume. What would you do if you were me? A guy named Dan Montgomery, never forget him. And he said, I'd become a gas buyer. And I'm like, that sounds good to me. I had no clue what it meant. And he said, look, you guys go to lunch a lot. You meet with people, you'll understand how to negotiate, and you get to go on bird hunts and fishing trips, and you meet ExxonMobil and BP. I'm like, oh, that sounds awesome. I got a freaking job. Now he didn't hire me. All I asked him to do was give me some advice. And then I was smart enough to say, hey, could you just introduce me to a few people and I'll take it from there. And he introduced me to 4 people. I begged one man into giving me a job. His name was J.B. Bell, and he worked for United Gas Pipeline. And at 21 years old, I got a job being a gas buyer on a pipeline that was 36 inches wide, okay, completely empty. And it was built underground, of course, and it was built from Laredo, Texas, all the way to Houston. And it was empty, dude. My job was to fill it up. 2 billion cubic feet of gas. It was the dream of a freaking lifetime to get a job like this. I think they paid me like 40 or 50 grand. And quite frankly, that was gross overpayment for my knowledge. I would spend the next 3 or 4 years there and then started moving my career into finding a platform that would suit my particular character. And that took me 4 years to find that. And then it was Katie bar the door. Once I found the platform, by the age of 27, I was making 70 grand working for this really big oil company. Hated it. My old boss.
So what'd you hate about it?
Well, I just three levels above me, they had no clue what they were doing. I would not go into war with these people. See, that's the way I think about everything. I go into a team, I'm like, hey, is this team going to show up on a Saturday when it's raining? Or are they going to like, is that guy willing to like, dive for the second base to get on? I am that guy, dude. I get bored very easy. And if I'm in a game that's really exciting and everybody's like giving everything they got, like you leave it all there, that is really exciting to me. And I have kind of made a lifetime out of being 7 years old and playing baseball every day. And I think it's a real hack on life. If you can find a job that you would do for free and then you get paid for it. I mean, I was getting paid $7 million a year, dude,
Yeah.
and couldn't believe I was getting paid 7,000 to do the job. I was like, man, this is so much fun. It's unbelievable. But it's never been about money for me. It's always been about the engagement, the challenge, especially if it has a game element. And when these companies, back to your question, when these companies are run by HR, I didn't know it then when I was 25, but when you get too big, HR comes in, they take over.
Yes.
It dulls creativity. And every market I have ever been in, it's very important for people to know, where are you in your industry and where's the industry? Is it in the middle of its maturity? I'm literally starting in industries that no one's ever done it before. So it was a cool thing for me. I learned, oh wow, I'm really cool in highly disruptive environments where you're having to make the rules up.
Yeah.
You're having to, and there's big issues, really big issues. So that was it took 4 years to at least understand the basics. And then when I began to understand, I was miserable working at this really fancy. I mean, dude, your parents would have been like, no, don't leave that company, dude.
Yeah.
It's on the 70th floor. It's mahogany.
Wow.
This is an oil company. This isn't a trading shop or a startup. In fact, I left it. I was making 70 G's and I went to work for a startup when I was 27. Everybody for 10 years said, bro, when are you going to leave that company? You're going to lose your career. I retired when I was 41 years old, man.
Wow, man.
Everyone that told me I was going to lose everything is still working. I had a blast. No, they didn't take any risks because they were like, they listened to their inner brain, and their brain said, probably their mom or their dad, hey, you're working for Exxon, dude. Let it be enough. You're white trash from Lake Charles, Louisiana. Let it be enough. You're vice president of Exxon. Problem was, I was miserable. The people above me they could see opportunities and wouldn't exploit them. And then I saw a shop down the street and I'm like, these guys, they want to mark the planet. They want to pee on every tree and fire hydrant that pops up. And I kind of like that, making your mark.
Yeah.
It's the most difficult piece for anyone in their career. I'll give you a little, I really believe this, okay? Finding the platform. You guys all go, I got to find a job. Wrong. Okay. All your advisors fuck you up. You need to find the platform. Like let's say that I'm a dramatical actor. There's probably no sense in me going to do comedy, right?
Right.
I probably ought to focus on drama. I don't want to go to Disney for an interview. This is what actors do all the time. I'll just act. Oh, okay. Well, that's why we have a bunch of bad actors. But if you I needed to go someplace. Now, the reverse is true. I couldn't go to Goldman Sachs though, because I wasn't smart enough for Goldman, and my culture wouldn't be suited there well. I would not make it in a Goldman. Mm-hmm. Too many people focus on the job and how much money they're making and not the platform, right? Like, is it better to go work for the New York Mets, the best baseball team in the world, or the Yankees, or whoever that is, Or is it better for me to go work at the third team where maybe I actually get to play more? Everybody wants to go for go for the Yankees, bro. You're going to sit on the bench, man. I
Yeah,
want to play, dude. I want to be in the game.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what kind of experiences did it, what was the leading factor in you getting that energy and that just to say, you know what, no, I'm not just going to go with what is being told to me. I'm going to strive for something better and something, something that I can do better than maybe most.
Um, I think my mom may have instilled a gameplay in my brother and I. We both have a very
Right.
and we're both very immature or childlike. I mean, this is what I love about Elon. The most impressive thing to me over that 10-hour rally Sunday, which if your audience hasn't watched that rally,
Yeah, I need to
uh,
watch it.
I got to tell you,
Yeah.
man, I was on the uh, I was on the phone last night with a friend of mine from Europe who's an extremely well educated geopolitical player. And I was like, Simon, you need to watch that because he tends to get a little negative, and it was a very uplifting event. And so I'm going to encourage your peeps, if they have children or a wife or a husband, um, like sit down this weekend and watch that rally. It will make you a better American, man. It will show you there are people out there like me and my brother and Howard Ludnick and other people. Like, we don't need any money.
Yeah.
What we do need, though, is to, help this country, and I think help the planet. I think you can do both of these. They're not exclusive to each other. We're most certainly in this very fascinating pivot point, and that's what these industries that I was lucky enough to move from one to another has taught me. It's made me very, very comfortable with technological, regulatory, and or commercial economic pressures that change markets. They disrupt markets in a really, really significant way.
Yeah.
Natural gas and electricity now trade on half-hour to 1 day time frames. 25 years ago, those were all 10, 15, 30-year contracts, and it was only between ExxonMobil and DuPont. Okay, monster companies. And it created a cartel. It creates a club structure. So what we did was we came in 1981 and we said, hey, all these big pipes have been paid forever and ever. They've been utilities, but they're not efficient. So why don't we change everything? This is the Reagan administration when he was going through deregulation. Hey, why don't we open the market up and let's see how supply and demand talk to each other? Because when supply and demand don't speak to each other, you cannot hear what they're saying. There's always someone in the middle doing something. They're muffling. This is what cartel constructs, the OPEC construct, any kind of club structure introduces a lack of transparency that leads to supply and demand misfits. And everyone's really terrified of supply and demand. I, for one, love it because, if supply and demand are really speaking to each other, there is no other costs that matter. You don't have intervention. Now, when you have intervention, we're going to blow up the Keystone Pipeline. Well, you're going to have supply shocks. We do not have real inflation. The real inflation the Fed's chasing is literally from terrorist acts by the United States government blowing pipes up, doing interventions such as embargoes and sanctions, telling Russia that they can't sell their crude or nat gas or power or whatever to allies, and then not allowing our allies to do trade with people that are in extremely close proximity to them, which allows them to reduce their costs. So now you have Germany going out of business. The UK has the most expensive power prices in the free world.
Wow.
Dude, today. Because, dude, it's a train wreck. Well, because of what happened going in from Russia to Europe, and they terminated the nat gas. I mean, so anyway, this disruption thing has been going on for 40 years in various industries. And I've been fortunate enough and forward looking enough to go, okay, I'm going to bounce into this industry. I can bring my disruptive capability and my understanding of how these traditional corporate players work, and I can cut out a slice for myself in the market. And that's really what brought me to Bitcoin after spending 12 years in the credit card industry, where I noticed this huge problem, built a whole software technology business to solve a problem in the payments industry that really was born from the energy background.
Hmm.
So it's just a different way of thinking about how you construct commercial agreements in a really dynamic market. Um, yeah, so like I literally didn't even know what a natural gas molecule was. Um, my point there is you do not have to study something for in college for 4 to 8 years to
Absolutely.
then go into the market and play a significant. I mean, I played a significant role in restructuring North American and European energy markets. 100 people did. 100 people did this. And 100 people are going, 4,000 people are going to get engaged with the Trump administration and revolutionize America or not. Now, the cool thing is, Vincent, do you want to be one of those guys or you want to sit on the sidelines?
Oh no, I'm anybody that knows me knows that I do not sit on the sidelines, baby.
Well, you know what? I'm pretty sure that Kamala and Biden, even though you're black, never gave you a phone call and said, hey, come help us, man.
No, not at
No
all.
one from any administration has ever
Well, hey,
called
well,
me
I
until
didn't vote
Trump.
for him, so I'm not.
Yep. No, but my point is Bush didn't call you either, did?
Not at all.
No one's ever
No.
called you except the anti-politician. And now I see my twin brother who I'm like, he's on stage, dude. He's on stage speaking with Trump and Elon. I don't know what else you guys need. The Cardone brothers are like, we are most certainly, you guys know we are not part of the system. You can tell by the way we talk, the way we act, the way we walk, the way we stick our finger in there, and we're fighters, man. When
Yeah.
I see an administration, I know many more of these guys than Grant does. Okay, now but when you get to meet Congresswoman Anna Luna, spent a lot of time with Vivek. Vance is there. I know Howard Ludnick from the Cantor Fitzgerald days, who helped just make nat gas and power just explode. He is such an instrumental player.
Yeah.
You got the Winklevoss brothers, who they're sitting in these private meetings. Every Bitcoin miner you could imagine. And Trump's sitting there going, hey, let's build America, guys. What can you do to help build America? And he's all over it, man. Took 30, 45-minute private meeting with him. He walks out in Nashville and says, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to stick Gensler in jail, and I'm going to open the market up, and I'm going to appoint 5 or 6 guys that I just met to be the crypto digital asset czars. And we're going to fucking bring everything back into America, and we're going to rock and roll.
Dude, that's so bullish, bro.
Dude, it's crazy. It's crazy. Me and my brother are wow, man, this is happening, man.
Yeah.
Like, why would you not want to be a part of this?
So when you first heard of Bitcoin, because we don't get a lot of story on especially people that's actually, really made it. When you first heard of Bitcoin, what was your first impression?
It was in 16. I did a little research on it. I was in the middle of building a really big business. And didn't really pay a lot of attention to it because I was just focused. And one thing
Yeah.
I started looking at Bitcoin when it was $800, and people are, oh, you were an idiot. I was building a $500 million exit, man. So I think it's okay. I missed it. Oh, wow, gosh. Guess what? My average cost is $40,000 today.
Okay.
I will continue to add. I own a lot of Bitcoin. I bought, I think, 2 coins at 8,018. Yeah, I think it's actually a bad question. Hey, when did you get involved in Bitcoin? To me, the question is, hey, when did your allocation into Bitcoin get above 10%. And once it gets above
Okay.
10%, my allocation to Bitcoin relative to my liquid cash position is 86.3%. Okay, so I am uh, I'm not only like I've studied this market, but I've also followed up with an extreme follow through on the position. Being a commodity trader my whole life, one thing that I do not tolerate is someone having a thesis and not betting behind it. Your
Hmm.
thesis is bullshit unless you put some money behind it. Now I want to see the size
Yeah.
of your position. And I would encourage all your people to, like, when you're listening to a so-called expert, make sure you know that he really is as a position.
Yeah.
You'll hear Grant and myself sometimes come on to these crypto bros. Hey, what's your cost base? Or give me kind of a sense of, are you in the one Bitcoin holdings, the 10, hundreds, and people don't want to talk about it. I own hundreds of Bitcoin at $40,000. Um, and that should tell you, okay, this guy's like put a shitload of money to
Yeah.
work, uh, his own personal money since 2020, really. See, I started really actually when Sailor came in, I just happened to come in at the same time. And I think I watched 2 of his videos. I watched a bunch of stuff from the old guys, the puritanical people, and quite frankly, it put me off. I didn't like it. I thought it was a
Hmm.
carnival, a shit show. Roger Vere's arguing with this guy. This guy's arguing with this guy. I come into Bitcoin pretty deep and then realize, oh my God, they're still arguing with people. The people have just changed. Uh, Someone told me last night, because I've only done social media for a year and a half. Somebody said to me last night, they said, dude, we saw you come into this market and all the Bitcoiners were like, this guy's going to get rolled up like a piece of shit on a Saturday afternoon. I mean, he ain't going to last 2 weeks. Today, from the whales and the non whales, they're like, dude, you have navigated this crazy tribal fucking psychotic group of people better than anybody we've ever seen. But I think it's because I've seen this kind of hardcore, hey, I'm Exxon Mobil and you can't do that here.
Yeah.
And then you come to the Bitcoin maxis, ow, you don't understand. It's like, yeah, we're not going to go peer to peer for a decade. Peer to
Yeah.
peer, you know.
Well, the
It,
problem is, people come into this space and, they instantly, they're like, oh, well, the market's on its way up, and they see a red candle and they panic. People, like you said, people don't really have any conviction behind what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like I entered the crypto space in 2020, and I'm not as invested as you, but I've got 71 to myself. You know what I'm saying? My dollar
dude,
cost average, right now is right above 34.7. I think is what it
dude,
is.
71 Bitcoin?
Yep.
Bro, you're a monster, bro. Hey,
Nah, that
you
ain't
got
nothing.
no, dude. Yeah, but 71 Bitcoin at any price is going to change your world, dude. You will
Oh
most
yeah.
certainly, if you don't do anything stupid, you will change the world for your offspring.
That's
Most
hey, that's
certainly,
right. As of right now, that's a retirement nest egg. You know what I'm saying? So, but I have to, like you said, hopefully eventually it'll go above that. And
would you say
I've tried to get
your
so
cost
many
is under
people.
40?
Yes.
You're going to make a lot of money, my friend.
Y'all hear that? I'm gonna be on Cardone level. No, I'm just playing.
No, you most certainly will be on. You'll be in the top 1% of the world, bro.
That's hey man, that's amazing because I've
I was
tried
with
to
my
explain
daughter.
to
I
people.
was with my daughter the other day, and we walked into a store, and she picked a coat out for me, and she said, "Hey, you want to check out?" I said, "Oh, I really like this." She said, "You, how much is it?" I said, "It doesn't really matter. I
Yeah,
like it." Now I'm going to look at the price tag. If it's $17,000, I'm not going to buy it, right? And
yeah,
she looked at me. She's like, "Wow, that's." She's 15. I said, "Like." Allie, you really want to get to a position where you can afford anything you want.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool, Freedom? She's like, whoa. I wasn't trying to give it to her like, why, you know. I mean, I don't really show a bunch of shit off. And she knows that, but the power to be able to not worry, and you're going to be in that spot, dude. My point was, this is a seesaw like at the elementary schools, right? Now, right now, the system is built such that most people are way down here. This middle class, you guys talk about the middle class like it's like this.
Yeah.
No, it's not, dude. See, it's what if you do it like this? It's a bridge, and the middle class is lit. I'm at the very tippity top, dude. I'm comfy up here, okay? Like, and I keep adding my Bitcoin because I want to be at the very, very, very tip top. Because when this son of a bitch starts to do that, flip or flatten out, I don't want to be in the middle.
Yeah.
Okay, imagine you're in the middle and this thing, all of a sudden now you're all the way over here on the end. You do not want to be, this is a normal bell curve. You want to be as far close to the wealthy as possible. You can say that's outrageous, but why would you want to get? It's much, much harder for the governments to go and attack billionaires. We have we have so many lawyers around us.
Yeah.
Super wealthy people. So like you are most certainly, if you hold on to your 71 Bitcoin, bro,
Oh
like
yeah,
that
I'm
is a big
definitely
deal.
increasing. I'm definitely increasing my position.
That's
You know what I'm
awesome,
saying?
dude.
Like I say, that's I'm full on. You know, this is going to be. You know, when I get 50, you know, I'm going to be able to sit back and enjoy life. You know what I mean? I don't want to be. You know, not no disrespect to anyone, you know, in their elder age with that's, you know, waving people at Walmart, but I don't want to be that person. You know, I want to still be enjoying life. Me and my wife and my kids get to go out and have fun and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And you know, I see in the comments a lot of people talking about never disclose. Look, I'm gonna tell you what. Um, Cryptocurrency isn't as decentralized as you think it is, right? And that's the great thing about the blockchain is because it's all public knowledge. Now, I don't hold all my stuff in one place because that would be stupid. You know, if I was to click on a link or you know, most of my holdings stuff is on cold storages and this and that, and it's multiple things. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people's like, oh, well, you shouldn't disclose, you shouldn't disclose. Well, there's going to be a way, there's going to be you know, KYC is coming, you know, it's already here. Whether you so if you've bought cryptocurrency or you've sold cryptocurrency, you are already KYC'd because you have to onboard, you have to off ramp somewhere. You know, and more than likely it's these exchanges. And guess what? You have to KYC to the exchanges. So they already have your information. If so just throw that out the book, you know what I mean? So just talking about what you have, I mean, it's not necessarily a bad thing in my opinion, because it just goes to show that look, I'm invested. I'm not just sitting up here on the screen going, oh hey, go buy cryptocurrency. No, I'm full on believing this, man, because like I say, my belief when I first started getting into crypto was that this was going to be my way to get out. This was going to be my way to level the playing field of you know, financial stability, because you know, I didn't come from, you know, anyone as far as like business mindset on, oh, I knowing how to trade stocks or knowing how to do this and know how to do that, you know, in these upper echelons of education. I come from nothing. You know what I mean? I'm just a regular average person, and this our school system doesn't teach you how to be financial literate. It
Right.
doesn't teach you how to be, you know, how to think outside the box and how to strive above something that you are, you know, or to strive above your current position. You got to do that on your own. You got to take the initiative. You know what I mean? It's just
Agreed.
it is what it is. Just hearing your
Agreed.
story,
Hey,
man. It's
let me just build on something because I saw a couple of comments here and you said something about it. I think Siri says, I have something about, oh, bro, never disclose how much coins you have. What an amateur. First off, I haven't disclosed anything. Secondly, if Vincent wants to say he's got 7, 10, 70 Bitcoin, I think that's not the issue. First off, I didn't ask you how many you had. I asked you what your average cost was.
yeah.
See, average cost. Like, if you tell me, why'd you stop adding? Right? That can you hear me? Okay. I
Yeah.
look like I just paused out there for a second, but uh, I didn't ask you how many you had. I asked average price. Secondly, I would never, Vincent, I would never ever, if I'm you and you have children, ever talk about self custody again. I
Oh,
refuse to talk about how I custody coins. I think all you guys are childish and immature to even have the discussion on a public framework. Okay. I will never talk about it. Why? Why would I want to expose myself to some guy that wants to put a gun up to my kid's face and say, hey, Gary, what's the seed phrase, bro?
uh,
This is a problem with self custody. People don't understand. Okay. Like self custody, this thing that sailors getting a bunch of grief over, all you whales, please just come in. I didn't hear anything he said that was incorrect. People are not going to walk around with $300 fucking million worth of Bitcoin in their brain. Okay. Has anyone asked, well, what happens if you go into a coma or lose your memory or somebody sticks a gun in your face and you got your kid there? Come on. It's stupid. Y'all aren't even thinking about this. Okay. So like there's a lot of reasons for us not to be having these discussions. But talking about what your average cost base is exposes no one to anything. All it does to me is, oh, wow, he stopped buying at 17. Or like Anthony Scaramucci, he's about 27 grand. He
yeah.
stopped buying, I guess. Okay. That's cool. I mean, he's going to have plenty of Bitcoin. So it's just a frame of reference for me. And I think that regards to you guys listening to people, I think you most certainly have the right to ask a guy like me, hey man, like, is your position more than $12? Because I think there's people on these shows, man. There's two types of people. One, the pontificator who knows everything but didn't follow up his thesis. There's something he doesn't fully understand about his thesis if he couldn't pull the trigger. The thing my brother and I are really good at, and he's a little bit slow in the uptake than me on this Bitcoin thing, but dude, we pull triggers better than anybody I know.
Yeah.
Like once your thesis is there, for you not to pull the trigger is something fundamentally flawed. Like that's a massive error when you know something and you don't pull the trigger. I can't tell you how many people over my 50 years of being in business have come up to me a decade later and gone, anybody could have done that. And I'm like, yeah, you could have done it
But
also.
did you?
No, he didn't do it. And they just don't know how to acknowledge, hey, you had bigger balls than me. And like, I'm not saying you had bigger balls than me, then you're better. Maybe, hey, Gary had bigger balls because he's a little bit of a fucking freak show. I mean, the life I have lived is not for most people.
Yeah.
And so you don't see the cost of, oh shit, he moved to England, built two businesses, got threatened by like governments, was told he was going to, if he didn't behave himself, he was like literally had to stop trading because they were scared I was going to bankrupt the damn country. When you go through all these experiences, people don't really fully appreciate, hey, what did it cost that cat to get there? 3 marriages. Most people aren't really ready for it. But in this world, you get to like operate at whatever level you want and access a tremendous amount of information. That's all I'm saying is just validate. You get a guy like me start sounding like I'm good and cool. You have the right to ask and challenge, right? Like people, hey, like how much people know that I know because I know so many people now. I mean, like you can't be a fake in this industry very long.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think it's an awesome industry. One of the things it's doing is people think, oh, I got to go buy 10 Bitcoin like Gary or 100 or 800 or
No.
you can get a job in this industry. Okay. You
Yes.
spend 25 hours studying the white paper, read a few books, read The Cost of Tomorrow by Jeff Booth, read The Bitcoin Standard, a couple other books. Start interviewing. Start interviewing with people, man. I mean, I need a co-host. I need people that can create memes. I'm doing all this shit myself. It's forcing me when you guys all show up. Hey, I want to make 100 grand. Well, what are you going to do for me? I'll study the white paper. Bro, you should study the white paper before you came here. Don't ask me for 100
Exactly.
grand, because at 100 grand, I'll work 2 more hours and now I'll stick my head in AI. And by the time I'm done, I won't need any of you guys. Because I mean, this shit's getting real now. Like, I am building things that I'm not even a coder, man. I'm literally going in and going, how do I do this? How does Gary do this? And it's so
Yeah.
if you're not
AI is
careful, you're going
definitely
to get
taking over.
fucked up bad. Okay. How old are you?
I am 42.
Yeah, you're 42. If you're 27, 37, 32, 42, 50, you are fucking primed to get just fucked because you're being lazy. Okay. You're going to get fucked because you sat on the couch, man, and watched TikTok. You should be studying right now. This world is changing so fast. Wall Street didn't even fucking know it, dude. Went from 27,000 to 70, and Wall Street's not involved. This thing's been here 12 years. You now
Yes.
have every swinging dick and their brother coming into crypto, and they all missed it, dude. So don't tell me the world knows everything. You guys, black, white, Indian, there's no, you can't come here in 10 years and say, well, I'm a minority and I just didn't have a right. Dude, no one's looking at the color anymore. Like, all we want to see is action.
Well,
You know?
here's the thing with that is they want somebody to tell them what to do instead of them going out thinking for themselves and actually doing something. They're like, oh well, CNN told me that Bitcoin was bad, so not even looking at it, not even educating themselves on. They're just like, oh well, CNN said it must be true, or you know what I'm saying, or so and so said it must be true. And it's like, dude, you gotta, like I spent 2020 to now, I've educated myself on cryptocurrency. You know what I mean? And it's like there's always something new coming out. There's always something new to learn about it. It's an ever evolving animal, and you have to understand it. You have to get this education. Just basic financial literacy. Because some people be like, "Oh, well, you know what? You need to go ahead and just cash out." No, that's not what investing is. You know what I'm saying? Not to mention short term capital gains. You got to learn. You got to understand and encompass all of this knowledge and to make conscious decisions on how you're going to proceed forward. And nobody wants to do that. They scroll on, like you said, scroll on TikTok or whatever the case may be, and they come across a video where somebody's talking about it, and they're like, oh yeah, maybe later. Or you know what I'm saying? It's like, come on.
Yeah.
So I have 2 questions that I usually ask everybody.
Sure.
And because this is called Behind the Bullshit, it involves some bullshit. So there's 2 times in your career, it could be anything, where you have some positive bullshit, you have some negative bullshit that either helps you or hinders you, or it was just unnecessary for you to deal with. You know what I mean? A positive thing could be like, hey, you know what? I got fired from this job, but it provided me this opportunity to move forward into something better. And then on the flip side of that, you got your negative where it's like, you know what? This was just some straight bullshit. I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. So what would be a positive bullshit thing for you?
A positive bullshit thing.
I spring that on people, and people say, "Oh man, that's harder."
I think the biggest positive thing, bullshit thing, is that my dad died when I was 9. Asked Grant one day. He and I were chatting on video. I said, "Hey, let's just pretend like. Well, first off, I have noticed something that a lot of really, really impactful people on this planet grew up in single mother homes. probably like you, right?
Nope.
No,
I have my
not you.
nope. I got my dad around.
Um, and Elon, like a lot of us,
Mhm.
I don't know what problem that creates, but I asked Grant. I said, "Hey, all our cousins, our brothers, our sisters who did have father, none of them have come close to what he and I have accomplished, at least economically. And more people know who we are than they know our cousins. Okay, I'm not trying to make our cousins bad, but I'm just using my little universe. Anyway, the question I asked Grant was, hey, if we could bring dad back, knowing that our lives would be completely different because we would have had that stable cat there, would we bring him back? And both of us looked at each other and went, nah, did he need to die?
Yeah.
It was our journey. It was our
Things
journey.
happen for a reason.
Yeah. So that's the, hey, it happened, and I can get all depressed over it, or I can like man up.
Yeah.
Um, is that the right kind of
Absolutely.
answer? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it could be any. There's no right or wrong. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think people pass through your lives, whether it's early or later in life. They pass through your life for a reason, and whether it helped you or hindered you. It is what it is. You take your learning lessons, and then you move on from there. You can't stay stuck on a particular situation because you'll never be able to grow outside of where you're at that moment.
Correct. I mean, I will say that I think that like most people watch these shows because they want to get rich. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
And I think that's cool. There's a number of different riches, though. There's not just one
Yes.
rich. Where was I going with that? I think that I mean, I've never focused on the money. It's not been my main driver. My main driver was to be on the baseball field and play.
Mhm.
Like I wanted to be in the game, man.
Yeah.
Even if it's a smaller team, I'm okay with not being on the top team. I think people like I would always go work for a guy like me over a corporate. I'm gonna learn more, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna learn. Like now the problem is you gotta like it's the platform. Like really want to pick the platform. Like for instance, if I would have stayed at that big energy company and not trusted myself with, hey, I am not going to be happy here.
Yeah.
I got it. It all looks good, but I don't want to do it, dude. Like
Yeah.
I'm not going to go to Hollywood and suck somebody's dick. I don't care how important I'm going to be. Ain't happening, dude. Like I'm not going to surrender any of my respect. Dude, I'm not. My
Yes.
deal with my parents was I'm gonna do the legit thing here. I know I can cheat, but
Absolutely.
I can most certainly cheat. But can I play the game and know that other people are gonna be cheating? Can I still play and win? Now that's cool. That's a
I
game there,
love
dude.
that. I
Yeah,
love
exactly,
that.
bro.
'Cause
Exactly. That's a game.
that's literally what I've been doing for a while now. Like I took that leap and just decided to go full on investing in myself. And that's how I started Dragon Riders Media. And I started off for anybody out there wanting to start some stuff. I'm telling you, it's work. But hey, if you're doing it yourself, you're excited, you're learning, and you go from having 2 or 3 views a week to a couple thousand. You know what I'm saying? It's all it's all about how much effort you put into this. I mean, I started off like all of my guests have been amazing. And look, now I'm sitting here talking to Mr. Cardone. You know what I'm saying? So it's take the time to educate yourself and take the time to invest in yourself. Take that leap because you never know where you're going to end up.
Right up. That's right, man.
So what would be a negative moment for you in your career? A negative bullshit moment.
I lost $120 million in 9 months.
Oh,
So,
oh.
how's
So
that one, bro?
how'd that come about? Or if you don't have
I had about 150 people working for me. I was getting a lot. The company had become really large. We were 12 people when I joined. Now we're six. I think we were at the time 4 or 5,000, 6 people, something like big company, man. We're
Hmm.
public. We're worth $30 billion. I started making 70 grand. I'm making, I don't know, $7 million a year, dude. I'm flying around in helicopters. I'm 40 years old. Got a driver. I live in a house in the country in the UK on a river, a mill house, 400-year-old mill house. I work 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday. I don't work ever on Fridays. My whole weekend is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I'm working from home for a public company with 150 people in London. And I started putting on a position, and my team in Houston was like, Gary, you really need to learn to manage more. You just do a lot. You're always involved in the deals. But this was a trading business. Trading businesses there's 100 people supporting one guy. And I have a very keen sense when I'm in the game. I can almost, before falls here, I can almost, like, hunters that go out and they're in the wild, and it's late September or August, and they're like, okay, fall is coming. It's like an Indian guy, like he can smell the footprints. Or anyway, because of the information I was getting from HR, or the way I articulated it, and all the feedback I would get from the board, and Gary needs to learn how to manage better. And so I started delegating, and that was a mistake, dude. I delegated, and I trusted some people. And even my boss at the time, I remember I was in Italy. We had a risk management meeting. This is a public company. Okay. I'm down
Yeah.
$120 million. We know there is a massive loss. I am short at about 12 pence a decatherm, and the market's at 14. And the whole industry, I'd made 250 million pounds the prior 3 years from this little industry, and everyone knew it. And they were all embarrassed by me showing up. Now, I told them what I was going to do. They just didn't believe me.
Yeah.
I spanked every one of them for like 2 years. And what they did, once they realized I was short, they literally just took their turns. Every 3 weeks or so, Exxon would get replaced by BP. Okay, let's fuck him up.
Yeah.
Now, this is the interesting story. It ruined 9 months of my life. I would lose $1 to $5 million a day, every day. Sunday night at midnight, dude, I didn't want to wake up, because I knew the drive into London was going to be like, fuck, hour
Yeah.
drive. I'm like, it's going to be 12 hours of just getting beat up. I'm having CFOs call me, man. Hey, how bad is it? I mean, we've breached every risk management. I think my VAR was like 2 billion. It went to 3.5 billion. Okay, VAR is value at risk. I'm in Italy. We have a risk management meeting. I'm with a woman. I'm in a hotel room. CFO, COO, head of board, and the president. And Chuck's like, "Hey, Gary, what like?" I said, "Chuck, we're upside down, dude. I made a mistake. I'll take the bullet. Okay, why don't let's close the position out. I've been with these guys 17 years. I said, look,
Uh-huh.
let's close the position out. We'll make it public, and you guys can shoot me in the head on the Wall Street Journal and just say I went rogue. I went rogue. It wasn't really anybody's fault, right? But the stock would take a massive hit. I was going to lose all my stock, 17 years. But look, I was the guy on the ground there. Dude. I thought that was the right thing to tell these guys. Hey, look, man, I'll go down. Remember, I approached this from a baseball team, kind of. Oh wow, I didn't hit the ball, dude. Y'all
Yeah.
need to bench me. Chuck, being the great boss he was, said maybe we should double the position. Maybe, Gary, you've always been right before. Maybe we should double up, dude. Like if we go to the board and just double up your position, we put $150 million in the market. We'll push them right back. And this had worked for 7-8 years, man. I ruled this market. The market didn't even price until Gary showed up. Like I was a very significant figure in this game. And I looked at him and I said, Chuck, I'm wrong, dude. We need to close this thing out. It could get even worse. We need to close it. I refuse to keep it open. I literally told him, I said, no, I ain't doubling shit, dude. It'll kill the company. And this is why you want a guy like me working for you, because I didn't lie to him. I know, bro, this is a fucking train wreck. I already knew my bonus was out the window. I just offered my 17 years, right? Hey, shoot me in the face. We closed the position that week. I immediately started pivoting. And this is the thing about this question you're asking. All the money is made in the pivot. When people go through these experiences, and this is why I share the $120 million loss, because nobody expects me to say that. I learned so much from that, bro. I made $1 billion fucking dollars from that mistake. And I will make many billions after that.
Yeah.
That mistake and the ability to go 6 months later, I bought an entire storage, the entire storage for the United Kingdom. 98% of all the storage over a lunch table. 6 months later, just from the pivot. Okay. We paid 555 million pounds at 1.7, I think the conversion rate. So $800 million asset acquisition. Cardone goes from losing $120 million on one of the biggest shorts in the UK's history to owning all the storage in one country, bro. It was like, but see, it unburdened me. I was able to like get away from that gravity.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't even think about doing a trade, man, because the weight was so heavy. So this is a good example for if you have college debt or if you have other debt, you have to get rid of that shit at 20% and 18% before you start buying Bitcoin. You can't invest while you have all these weights around you. And this is why people get panicked out of these markets. They get pushed out of the market because their position's too big, their debt's too big, or their time horizon is too sharp or wrong. And they don't cut their mistakes, man. And then they don't. And then if they do cut their mistakes, they tend to cut their winners too soon. So anyway, dude, if you ever want to, if you ever need to fill up 3 hours of mistakes, though, I can do all 3 hours. That's what happens when you do at bats enough.
Yeah, I mean, but hey, it's the mistakes that gives us those needed learning lessons. You know what I mean? Like if you go through life winning and winning and winning, like when you get your first loss, it's like, oh, it's detrimental. People can't handle that. You know what I mean? And then they turn into a recluse and lose everything. You know what I'm saying? But if you're steadily having losses along the way, you're still learning along the way. You take those losses, you move on, and you come out even better on top. You know what I mean? Just like this right here is. I wish I could, man. But like I said, that's why I tell people about cryptocurrency all the time. It's like they don't understand that the little losses. Yeah, the chart's down on the. Now I'm talking about blue chips now. The chart may be down.
What is a blue chip?
Okay, I would say maybe.
Give me an example of blue chip.
Top 100. Or maybe I would say top 50. Let's narrow that down a little bit. Top 50 tokens,
bro.
But hey, I've made quite a bit off of
top 50 women you've ever even looked at. You can't come up with 50 blue chip women.
Oh, okay.
Is that fair?
Hey, that is definitely fair.
At 40 years old, dude, if you can't come up with 50 blue chip women, I'm sure you cannot come up with 50 crypto projects that are blue chip.
Oh well, in my position, in my opinion, like I say, it's I consider top 50 because that's what I mostly trade with.
Yeah,
and I make money off of it. I mean, so anything below that is more risky, and then of course the degen world is definitely wild west, hit or miss.
Now let me ask you a question on that. When you look at these 50 or 100. Give me an example of one of them. Just pull one, the first one that comes out of your mind.
Solana.
Okay. Solana. See, I would call that an absolute blue chip. I
Okay.
would not think that Hex is a blue chip or Pepe
Oh,
or
okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. Maybe I didn't. No. So Pepe, I definitely don't consider it.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
it's up
going.
there,
I'm
but
going somewhere with
yeah.
this, right? Because what I notice is that the degen market. By the way, that stands for degenerate, which is a definition for a gambler who is a complete scumbag, right? So I didn't give you guys that name. Y'all kind of gave it to yourself, but I'm not sure y'all really know what it means. But this is the thing that I find really fascinating. If you guys are going to buy that, why wouldn't you buy micro strategies, triple leverage call option? Or now it wasn't around 6 months ago, but it is now. Or why wouldn't you buy like, oh wow, I can buy what's Coinbase? Coinbase is a real business, man,
Yes.
related to crypto. Okay. Now I don't
Yes.
really know what crypto schmipto does. Okay, let's call that the new coin.
Hmm.
Um, but if I'm investing, like if I'm just trading, it shouldn't matter. You should just chase volatility. But if you're in the crypto world and you're like, hey, I want these tokens, I'm like, wow, why wouldn't you chase a token that has a business behind it also? Right. And I think there are some
Yes.
businesses out there that, for instance, the miners. Why does it that your group, and I've never met you before, so I'm not, but that your particular group, if you're going to look at a token like Pepe or a meme, why wouldn't you look at a miner that you know is going to be in
Oh.
play? It's a
Oh.
real business, man. Now, it
Yes.
may not be a real great business forever during every cycle, but I think you're going to get more juice out of it. And you're going to have other, like, I ain't ever going to be with Pepe.
No.
The money that I have, you want my money in the market, man, because my money is bluer chip than your money. And by that, I mean it's stickier, right?
Yeah.
It's stickier. Like one of the things I noticed to get me really, really deep when my brother finds out I'm 86% allocated, he's going to be like, God damn, son. Well, he's 90% allocated to real estate. Nobody says anything to him.
Yeah.
90, maybe 95, right? Um, where was I going with that thought? Um,
Well, I just want to address. So
please
AJ, man, we're not telling you not to buy anything. You know what I'm saying?
buy
Everybody
whatever you
has
want,
their
man.
strategy. Yeah, exactly. You buy whatever you want. Everybody has their strategy. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, as far as myself, I don't consider Pepe meme tokens, all that stuff that have nothing behind it, no kind of real world utility or business behind it. I don't consider them any. I don't care if they was number 10, like Shiba. Like I don't consider that something that I would consider a blue chip. You know what I mean? I'm talking about something that has some of these layer twos that have real world applications to them that are partnering with companies like Visa and stuff like that that are trying to like XRP would be one. XRP would be one. They have full on payment system. You know what I'm saying? It's like, but Pepe and stuff like that is not what I consider. But at the same time, you buy what you want. I still buy my stuff in DeFi. You know what I mean? I make a few $100 here and there, but you know what I mean? It's like as far as my long term, I would consider like long term plays something I would buy continuously. I would DCA in or even actively trade. I don't do meme coins. I
Right.
used to, and I got wrecked quite often. You know what I'm saying? But it's
Yeah.
I'm buying.
Listen, I'm not trying to make anyone wrong. I'm
Yeah,
simply asking a question. Hey, do you look at these other alternatives? Because if you like that kind of action, you should love 3MST or SMST, which is the three leverage chart on MicroStrategy, which I'm actually looking at doing as an insurance policy against my Bitcoin. Uh, the point I'm trying to make is for you guys that have been looking at this token bit world, I maybe would expand your universe a little bit, not just go immediately to memes because you think that's going to run. You
yeah,
have an opportunity to front run real money, money that's sticky. Um, and I would just like, if you're going to chase all the volatility, I'd go chase all the volatility relative to this market. There's other options other than, 10 below Solana. See, for me, 10 below Solana, none of those guys are going to make it, man. I don't, and there is no real world asset application today until they start showing a P&L that shows income.
Okay.
And you guys can't run this shit on me about they're doing a deal with Visa. I have a deal with Visa and MasterCard and American Express. And unless I do all the heavy lifting, that deal never turns into anything. I literally paid both in that old business. I paid them $20 million a year. I bought a tool from them and resold it, made money. Just because somebody announces a deal with a payment company means nothing, dude. I spent 12 years there. Okay. I mean, it literally means two logos came together. And if you've ever seen a Visa contract or a MasterCard contract, it is so lopsided. It's unfreaking believable.
Okay.
So
learn
until
something
you
new.
see,
Hey, you learn
until
something
you
new
see
every
the
day.
traction, right? And I get the thing on XRP. People are like, "Hey, it's a Swift system." Well, maybe, but the chart looks like shit.
Yeah.
It looks terrible. Cardano looks terrible, man. I know Charles. I like Charles. He's a nice guy. The fucking chart looks like shit.
Yeah.
And the chart looks like it's neither one of them are going to make it. I don't think Ethereum makes this, dude. I mean, it's going to make it, but I bet we see 1,500 before we see 7,000.
I can honestly see that. I can honestly see that because I mean, they can increase their supply, and it's like there's nothing.
If
There's nothing
Vitalik got
holding.
killed on his airplane, Ethereum is most certainly taking a hit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's no Bitcoin chairman to lose. Like there's no, we are completely different than Bitcoin when we're talking about Ethereum. Okay, $300 billion. I don't know that it makes any money whatsoever. Most certainly is not paying its way. It's number two. Number two is not a good place to be, man. In a disruptive industry, and you got King Kong over there just chewing up shit by the moment. The gravity of Bitcoin is fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating. I've met in 2 years, literally, I did not have an X account. I think a lot of people confuse me with my brother who's been doing this stuff forever. Like I have never wanted to do this because the businesses I was in, like they don't go doing business with Goldman Sachs and Visa. They don't want your face on here, right? They don't want you bitching about shit. And but one of the things that got me really interested was not looking at the price. It was looking at the talent pool that was coming here. Now you can look at me and go, hey, this guy's crazy. Okay, cool. But you can't dismiss the other 50 guys that look kind of similar to me, man. And they're all deploying lots of money to it or lots of time.
Yeah.
Okay. Like their entire careers have been switched from Wall Street to, I could hire 20 people right now. They're the most senior people in Wall Street, accounting, tax, and forensic firms. 45-year-old guys that are making $700,000 a year as a partner at a big firm. They're like, these guys are going to completely fuck this up. They know it. The firms are too large to make the leap. The leap where we're headed, it's so exciting, dude. I mean, it's going to provide 30 or 40 years of work for you to create things in an industry that's going to be massively different. And you literally have very little competition because traditional players can't move into this world very easily. Remember the story I told you about? Oh, wow, Gary, you've really navigated this space well. I'm not doing this. Somebody ought to be noticing, hey, how did a guy do this in less than 2 years? Like I know everyone now.
Yeah.
I bought a company. I've got $7 million in a company called Node 40. If you guys have more than half of Bitcoin, you have to contact Node 40 and get an accounting solution with them. You're going to be audited. Okay. If you think this stuff's going to be worth $250,000 one day, You cannot afford to use the software solutions for tax and audits that you've been using. $100 software package is not going to keep you out of the fucking jail, man. Or with a criminal charge against you by the IRS or a civil charge. That's assuming you can afford the $100,000 audit. Okay, so there's 86,000 IRS agents that are being boarded right now, and there's 70 to 80 million, 100 million taxpayers. Okay, there's about 0.83 tax forms for every IRS agent. Every one of you guys holding Dogecoin are being audited because they can, man. You're just a stat to them now. Okay, they want to keep their job.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, there's too many of them. They should never have hired that many people. You can do this with software, but that's where they're going to get you guys. Okay. Now, I've already been through an audit, and a 9-hour audit lasted 1 hour because I basically zeroed every monster portfolio through Node 40. I'm in a deep, heavy duty litigation over $250 million. And they're calling me the moment I go into the funny way that these lawyers and legal people play games is it's irrespective of why it was a divorce. Okay. So, but 6 months prior, the deposition had been scheduled and I was up like 17 million. 11 hours before they found out how far I was up when we sent the book to them, they canceled the meeting. Because see, they really wanted to go to the judge and go, this motherfucker took 50 million and turned it into 7. The market collapses right after that. 6 months later, we go into the deposition. They reschedule it. I'm down 76.3%. Their pitch is, hey, this guy took $50 million, which wasn't really the right number, but that's what they told the judge. He took 50 million and turned it into 7. And he's a Bitcoin guy. They're all drug dealers. You know that, Your Honor. Oh, no, dude. Like, they were saying all this shit, okay?
Wow.
Oh, dude, no. Everything, okay? Now, what helped me was I looked at the judge and went, in fact, I looked at my lawyer and went, hey, did you do a deep criminal dive on me? No, I didn't do it. Why not, man? There's no red flags. And so the judge knew, hey, there's no red flags here. I literally stood in front of the judge with my Node 40 protocol because I wouldn't even let my forensics or my lawyers do it. Because, see, my lawyers are 70 years old, dude.
Yeah.
And 68 on the audit side. They don't know what Bitcoin is. My Bitcoin is conflicting with my lawyer's view that bonds are good. I mean, I got the other lawyer going, Your Honor, he should have put all this money in bonds. and that's what a family really does. And I looked at the judge and went, well, Your Honor, if you would like this family to commit long-term suicide, I'm happy to consider putting buying a bond for 2% and having inflation smash me at 12. And my lawyer was like, whoa, you know your shit, dude. He got out of bonds immediately. I looked at the judge and said, if we're here to judge my investment prowess, I'm guilty. It looks like shit, but I ain't selling it. It didn't get put here for 3 months. I've been doing this my entire life, and my family can have half this position, dude.
Yeah.
But we ain't selling it. This is what it looks like. The judge looks down and says, we know more about this position than we know about all their other positions combined. 1 hour meeting, dude. 12 people in a room at $800 an hour. Done. I have never been asked another question about my crypto position. In fact, it scared the fuck out of the other side so much. I'm like, you guys sure you want this position? Because you just told me I'm going to go bankrupt. I kept every digital asset I had, dude. Wow. Every one of them. I didn't give a penny away. That is powerful. Okay. So you guys contact me or contact Node 40, tell them you saw it and you want my deal. Okay. You'll get exactly the same. I think I pay $3,500 a year or something for it, but I'm buttoned up, man. I'm buttoned up. A retainer with a lawyer and a forensics guy is going to cost you 12 to 15 grand. That's 30 G's you need. And all you got to do is show them Node 40 and go, stay out of my way, man. Save you a
Wow.
shitload of money. Y'all have to get prepared though. We're living in history right now. This asset is going to become $700,000 one day. Like you all you have to do is go to sleep, go to work, buy fiat, do an automatic buy every month of 20 or 30% of your gross pay, and you're going to wake up in a decade and you're going to be like, man, that cat Cardone showed me how to get rich without sweating. You don't need to run a business. You don't need any staff. You don't need a franchise at Popeyes that costs $3.5 million.
Yeah.
Fucking Popeyes fried chicken franchise costs $3.5, $4 million, dude. And you
I
can't
thought it
sell
was
them.
more than that.
You can't sell them either. I got a
What?
Chick-fil-A I can sell you for a 15 cap right now. No bidders, dude. $3.5 million. No bidders. Okay, Bitcoin is a franchise without any windows. It doesn't have any tax exposure. It doesn't have a building that eats up air conditioning, even when you're not there. It doesn't require any 12-year-olds or 18-year-olds to slap chicken around the room and then piss in the freaking oil. You
Yeah.
have no human, like all the crap that goes on in all these franchises. It's disgusting. You're not going to get sued. You don't have to have insurance. If a hurricane blows through there, your production, the people going through your thing doesn't change. I have built 6 companies or funded 6 companies and spent 40 years of my life building these things. This is the greatest private equity play in the history of the world. Owning Bitcoin is like owning your own business without any human risk exposure. It's the greatest franchise with the biggest marketing team in the world. They all work for free, bro. BlackRock is going to be the best marketing PR team you've ever seen in your life. We got to $1.3 trillion market cap before BlackRock showed up with the worst marketing in the history of mankind.
Yeah.
I mean, the whales and the puritanical, the Max Kaisers, they would do everything they possibly can not to have me here. I cannot believe. I literally heard a guy last night say that if I had a guy, he said, "Hey man, I just need a little push to buy some Bitcoin." I'm like, "Hey bro, do you want to deploy $1 million, don't you?" He said, "Yeah, I want to deploy side." Go fucking pull the trigger, bitch.
Yeah.
Like, how many
Yeah.
times you going to sit in the room? I walk through a whole set of criteria with him, and he's like, that is exactly what I needed. Some guy that's been in Bitcoin for 12 years. You know what he told him? Hey, man, you got to self-custody. I'm like, bro, why would you do that? You guys are crazy. I just got a guy to say yes to Bitcoin. Let him conduct the transaction first. Jesus Christ, man. It would be like you see this beautiful redhead, 6 foot tall, she's just cranking. You can get her. And you, hey, honey, let's do an STD test before we go on a date. I mean, can we have dinner, dude? Let's figure out if there's any juice here before we just completely put up every barrier on planet Earth.
Yeah.
Right? So we just want people in this thing. Once you get a taste of this shit, it is really, really powerful. I know it's very hard for people to understand it this way, but it will most certainly make me more money and give me more connections. I'm getting ready to say something I think is just stupidly bullish. I am going to develop more lifetime relationships and make more money and do less work than all the industries combined. I've never seen anything like it. It's almost too good for most people to believe. They look at it and they're like, no, it just can't be. My whole life has literally been set up energy, then payments and technology. And I'm like, wow. And supply and demand has been my core thesis. Supply and demand, when they speak to each other, they work perfectly. And I finally have a commodity that I can buy, front run the entire free world, and I still probably have 3 years of front running to do.
Wow.
Yeah, bro.
That's very insightful, man. That's not
When Grant, when I
excuse me.
bought my first goal, I think I paid $300, and then I paid 1,100, or 1,100. Then I bought my first silver. I think it was $11. Grant and I bought our first apartment doors in Arizona. They were $35,000 a door, meaning you buy 100 doors in an apartment building, you're paying $35,000 a door. I started buying Bitcoin at 22, well, at 8, and then I saw it, and it's going. This reminds me so much. Oh wow, I'm never going to be able to buy a $60,000 door ever again. That's where we're headed. Okay, everyone's going to own this apartment door. There's 21 million apartment doors here. There ain't 22. There's 21. 3 or 4 million of them are never going to be used. So there's 17, 18 million. There's 2,700 billionaires on planet Earth. They're all worth $4.5 billion each. 100 of them takes $1 billion, 20% of their stack, and puts it into Bitcoin. If they lose the stack, they still have $3.5 billion.
Yeah.
And they have losses they can claim. If they do what I think they're going to do, they'll be the richest people on the planet. That's 10 people, man. 10 to 100 people out of the 2,500 billionaires. There's 62 millionaires. Just make an allocation. Let's call it $25,000 each of them times 62 million divided by 70,000, millions of Bitcoin. And then there's the ultra wealthy people who aren't the billionaires, and they're not the millionaires, but they're worth 30 million each. How much are they going to buy? There's 406,000 of those people around the world. So they're going to buy $2 million. They're worth 30 million. Let's say they buy $2 million. 2 million divided by 70,000 times 400,000 families. It's like 7 million Bitcoin. Okay. And you call it the ETF, call it a mutual fund, call it MicroStrategy, whatever, dude. This money is most certainly coming here. That's before organized pensions and the plans and all that stuff. It's really just a supply and demand matrix at this point that most people in their lifetime have never been able to do, invest in something like this. Not truly. Not without having a major player be able to manipulate supply and demand.
Wow. Yeah, because all across the news we see that people are there's like, oh well, Bitcoin's crashing, it goes down 2%. Oh, Bitcoin's crashing, and you get people selling off while you got big companies like BlackRock that are continuously buying.
They bought $2 billion worth of Bitcoin, been bought in the last 10 days.
Wow.
50 billion trades a day. My brother, me and Grant have so much fun with each other. My brother comes on one of my shows one day and he wants to embarrass me. Gary, I'm gonna buy $100 million. I'm gonna buy $150 million worth of Bitcoin. How long is that going to take me without moving the market? And I'm like, I went and looked at Obama. 7 hours, maybe 10. He's like, that's bullshit, dude. I went, bro, we do 50 billion every day. You're 150.
Yeah.
Like, okay, that was at 55,000. In fact, I was at 27, then 37, 30, back down to 32. He starts calling me laughing. Hey, you can't hold 37. 32, he didn't buy it. At 39, he didn't buy it. At 42, he didn't buy it. At 49, everybody's waiting for a discount. The discount is right now, man.
Yeah.
And this volatility, the cool thing about Bitcoin, for guys like you and me, it goes on sale 10 or 15% almost every month.
Absolutely.
I just got to wait for the blue coupon sale, dude. Like, I just got to plug in and go, when's Kmart offering Bitcoin for a 15% discount? Shit, it had a $4,000 move today.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the blessing of Bitcoin. No one understands this. Like, wow, shit goes on sale all the time.
And and like you say with older folks, especially like telling my dad, I'm like, look, you need to buy some Bitcoin. Like he's one of those like, oh, I'm going to keep my money up under my mattress type of guy. And it's like you can't pop. I'm
See
like,
now,
pop, come on.
Vince. Now he's the kind of guy. He's the kind of family member. I'll give you a little tip here. I don't know how old he is, but I have a sister who's 75. And I said, "Hey, Diane, what? She's got some. I mean, she's got $4 or $5 million. She has been secretary for an oil company. Don't tell me you can't. I think at 50 she stopped working. You have to get with the right platform and invest properly. So she's going to be able to put her own body in her grave without me and Grant having to do it. We'll end up doing it, but the point
Yeah,
that she doesn't need us is pretty cool, right? Because like 95% of the people that die, they die broke. They can't even afford their own burial. That's so
yeah,
like disrespectful. Anyway, I say to my sister, I'm like, hey, look, how much you have in your fund in your mutual, whatever, your IRA? I got $500,000. Okay, what's it in? See, everybody's so busy trying to educate people on Bitcoin. First off, when was the last time you like to be lectured to and told you should? Nah, nobody likes
yeah.
that shit. Oh, Diane's in Altera, the cigarette company. Hey,
Hmm.
let's go check how that's done. Philip Mark, Gary, it pays me a 4% dividend. Well, of course it does, because the stock's a piece of shit, dude. So I show her the chart. Okay. I show her a little 4%. I then show her, hey, LIBOR's at 8. The Fed's at 6 or whatever they're at. And then
Uh-huh.
I put Bitcoin on top of that. And I made her an offer. Now she's 75. I happen to know probably all that money is going to end up with my children or split between me and my brother's kids. Like, why would we give any money to Grant? Totally unnecessary. That's my view. But I said to her, I said, hey, look, I'll do this. I'll guarantee you Altria's performance, if you move all the money, all 500,000 or 450 into Bitcoin, I will guarantee you Altria's stock performance with the 4% coupon. You'll never lose more than that. And that converter. Now, why would I do that? First off, the delta for me, what could be 30 or 40 grand. Secondly, she's going to leave it for my kids anyway. I don't want it in Philip Morris, dude. I want it in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Right. And I made it easy for her. I said, dude, I can just cover your exposure. Just bash into it. Smoking, I smoke. Altria stock's going to be worth zero one day. They're just not going to allow you to do this stuff. I would think.
Yeah.
Most certainly, it's not a forward-thinking company. Your dad will have stuff in a 401k. He won't even know what it is. He literally won't even know that he's supporting a criminal organization that he hates. So this is not hard, man. This is not hard to get people to move over. The funny thing to me is most people, when they do convert from traditional finance, the psychosis of investing is hilarious to me. They will take their tax planning fund, and that's the first Bitcoin they buy. So they go from, hey, it's way too risky to, I'm going to slam all my tax-free income in there that requires me for the future. It's like, wow, you took the money that you want the most safest and put it in the most aggressive trade you could, when just 180 hours ago you were like, oh, I need to be in Altria. I can't have any volatility. Like,
Yeah.
it's really bizarre because they don't want to pay taxes. When you go, hey man, you could have a 40% tax clip on a 100% gain. Oh, I could. I'm putting it in tax free. So it's hilarious. They go from one extreme to another. Funny enough, that's exactly what I did. In fact, I put my IRA in Dogecoin
Okay.
because of the tax nature of it. For me, it was a lottery ticket. It's a whole different story, but
Yeah.
it's a fascinating time and a fascinating opportunity. I think a lot of people are going to wake up 5 years from now and go, oh shit, I missed that train. So I really missed that train. It took me
Yeah.
about 6 months to get Grant to come around. He's now there. I mean, he's gagging now. You know, when you see him stuttering on his words at 72, now it's going to be painful, especially when you're buying volume. You know, he wanted to buy a shitload. I mean, I think he's 30 million. We just left him $30 million behind on that trade. I mean, that's a lot of money to, you know, in 2 months.
Yeah.
So it's really exciting. It's going to be really exciting. It's going to be very exciting to see who makes and keeps the money this time, though, because I think a lot of you guys, y'all played a lot of action, took a lot of action last time, but not a lot of people actually turned it into fiat and locked it up. It's going to be we're going to see.
Absolutely true. Absolutely true.
Oh yeah, dude.
A lot of people spend, especially, you know, if you, that's why I tell people all the time, like, if you've never held $10,000 before, it's like, oh my God, I got $10,000. What, I'm gonna go buy me a, you know, $9,000 watch. It's like, why? You know what I mean? Then when you make your first 100K, and it's like, oh my God, that is such a lot of money. 10,000 wasn't nothing, you know. And then you don't have that experience, but then you start to get into the millions, and it's like, I'm so rich, not realizing that, you know, well, life is expensive, you know. And then what are you going to do to keep that million? You know what I mean? Because you spend it, then you're back in the same boat you was before you had it. So, you know, and a lot of people didn't understand that. They just thought, you know, the last bull run was just, it was going to go forever. Everybody's like, oh, well, I'm making money. And then now, you know, now they're just like, they're hoping and gambling on PP poo poo token, you know, to get them back, you know, get them back to where they was, you know. And it's ridiculous. And that's why I preach education all the time. You know, I don't care where you get it, if you got to pay for it, if it's free, get you some education on what cryptocurrency is and how to market, you know, how to market is, and just understand what you're doing. Understand that, you know, there, like, we have cycles of this. There's green candles and there's red candles. You know what I mean? It's like, people are like, oh, well, I see one red candle and it's done and over with. You know what I mean? And it's not that. You got to understand, take a step back, zoom out, and see that Bitcoin has been doing this for a few years. You know, they're focused on today, when you got to take a step back and look at the entire market. You know, so with that being said, what do you think is the prospect of companies coming in and maybe absorbing some of these, well, because, you know, we have gaming, you know, a lot of different gaming stuff, a lot of different up and coming, like I would say, startups that actually have some type of tech that could help, you know, the crypto space or whatnot. So what would your perspective be on some of these companies coming in that don't have this, and saying, hey, you know what, I don't want to spend a few years and billions of dollars to develop this thing when this company has it already and they're into crypto? What do you think? You think companies will start absorbing some of these small, I would say, startups or whatnot?
No,
Really?
no, I don't think most of these startups or things you buy. I think there's nothing you can't do to replicate most of them. And I'm particularly talking about memes, tokens, businesses that their model is community.
Oh, no.
You know,
No, I'm
this whole,
talking about like ones that
like
actually
what?
have
Like what?
tech. Say Links. Links is it's my app. I'm co-owner of it, and so basically it's a portfolio tracker, and it'll track the entire history of a token, or excuse me, of a wallet, without connecting that wallet. So,
What's it?
but there's
What's the
no
purpose?
token.
What does
No,
it do?
well, it's specifically a portfolio tracker,
Got it.
and it's also I mean, I can't disclose, but it's been used for a couple cases to try to help resolve past transactions and clarity and stuff like that. So basically, it takes the blockchain, puts it in an organized fashion, so it's
Yeah.
easy to read, so you don't have to, you know.
Yeah.
So
Look, I think a business like that's actually performing a function. I mean, that sounds a little like Node 40.
okay.
I like those businesses. The whole industry has no tools. This
Yeah.
is a industry full of Ferraris and Maseratis and Lambos without dashboards. And what your links thing is basically a dashboard. Hey, this is my position. People, one, just the reaction, me asking you about your holdings and what your average cost was. You just see that and you're like, what's wrong with you guys, dude? Like, this is very weird from people like me who've been doing this my whole life. I'll go to Enron and go, hey, what's your cost base, man? What's your position size? Like,
Mhm.
I know what everyone's position size is in all markets that I'm operating in. You come here and go, oh, don't tell anybody about your position. What are you, a fucking criminal? Are you hiding Bitcoin from somebody, dude? Because like that's the only reason, unless you're totally into self custody, which is a good reason not to talk about Bitcoin. Hey, I
Mhm.
got 3,000 Bitcoin on this little ledger thing. Like, why would you? That's a problem.
Okay.
Okay, and like it's a problem in that like nobody can just show up here and steal money from me and go into the bank with a gun in my face. There, that's a good reason why people would want to use a third party, right? Um, Look, there's so many things to build here. Um, the things I would be building on. See, the problem for you is you have to make sure that stays up to scratch, and you have to build it for the
Yes.
best company in the world.
Absolutely.
And unless that's built for the best company in the world, we'll have limited use. Like TaxBit has this big, cool solution for Joe Consumer. Well, guess what? Joe Consumer doesn't have enough crypto to charge anything for the service that you're providing. They have to now retool and build it for institutions. Institutions need these tools, not Joe Schmo. Joe Schmo's going to have it through Fidelity,
Yeah.
right? Plus, like, who are you going to serve? You're not going to serve EW, Ernst and Young. You're going to go serve the smaller market. Now you have to collect credit cards and payments. Now you have to do customer service. You will not be doing this podcast because
Yeah.
if you're successful, you're going to have 10,000 customers complaining to you.
Yeah.
So a
Well,
lot of
on the back end of that, it's not just a dashboard because we also sell our node services, stuff like that, for a fraction of the cost of the big guys. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
we are attacking a different
yeah,
type
yeah,
of. You know what I'm saying? And it's scalable.
yeah.
So I mean, I'm not just saying it's just mine.
It's
I'm talking about
scalable, but
yeah.
look, remember, I've come from really big industries, right?
Uh-huh.
I don't think anyone's proved in crypto they have any capability to scale. We're
Okay.
not even close, man. Not even close to seeing the real volume. I have a client,
Okay.
Node 40, does 1 billion transactions a year, man.
Wow.
There is no software other than mine that can handle 1 billion transactions a year. And I'm not sure I could handle 1,000 of those clients. I mean, that scale, like we'd have to just go, well, let's see, because we might be good at 900 clients, but 901 might break it. I mean, the capacity required to store this shit. We're
Yeah.
talking about fractionated transactions, right? There's 62,000 people that work just handling credit card disputes in the world. $6 billion of overhead of a guy making 120 grand a year at Barclays, filing chargebacks from his peer at the consumer base of Barclays, who's also making 120,000 a year. And they're filing chargebacks. 62,000 people. No one has been able to build software to solve that problem. No one. And MasterCard and Visa have spent about $4 billion doing it. The
Yeah.
reason is software isn't ever going to fix that problem. The problem is it needs to be centralized. And the credit card problem is decentralized. And that's why no one ever shares the right information. And then when you look under the hood, you're like, oh, you guys love this problem. You're making billions from it. You're pretending to fix it. And that's where you start building a software company and you don't realize, oh shit, This is a game, dude. No one intends to have this problem solved. In crypto, I think a lot of that goes away. So it's really just about the timing. I think we're close, man. We're really like we're close when everything now has to get built and people are going to start paying for it because we have regulations that are going to tell people, hey, you have to do your accounting now. You can't just, 46% of the people that are listening to this will die. I mean, we'll get a divorce. 46% of you with crypto will get a divorce and you have not thought about how you're going to divide it. Okay. I've been through it. Don't think that you're not going to need a really good calculator. And you're going to need some lawyers behind you. 100% of us are going to die. And if we're lucky, we're going to leave, and I'm going to leave you with this, but we're lucky, you're going to leave your kids with 7, 50, 100, 1,000 Bitcoin. I've been buying Bitcoin since 2016. Let's say in 2040, I die. I have 1,000 Bitcoin I'll leave to my kids. I have 16 to 40. That's 24 years that I've been moving Bitcoin. I buy Bitcoin all the time, right? I even do some other crazy things. I lend it out. I'll do a swap. I'll move it to Fidelity. Fidelity, after 2 years, goes to Cantor Fitzgerald, and it comes back into my hard wallet because there's a depression, and then I move it back. My children will have no clue what happened, bro. The first question the IRS guy is going to ask is, where exactly did the money come from to secure the first Bitcoin? Now, that's $100,000 question, dude, because she's got to go get a retainer from a lawyer and a retainer from an accounting firm. I will probably have to already have done that. But they won't know about Bitcoin. They won't know about blockchain. They won't know about lending protocols or what Cantor Fitzgerald is. So while they're fucking doing their homework at $900 an hour, probably $2,000 an hour then, right? They're going to destroy, like they're going to cost my kids a bunch of shit when they should be grieving, when all I had to do was every year for $3,500. Node 40, this is what happened. Node 40, 2025. I didn't do anything in 2026. Gary did nothing. Print the report. It zeroes out. You got $100 million and it's zeroed. There isn't any questions an auditor can ask you if it zeroes out.
Yeah.
So our approach has been, oh, wow, this is awesome. This is pure math. The most complex portfolios in the world must settle to a fraction of a penny. If you can balance a portfolio of 1 billion transactions to 11 cents, there isn't any regulator on the planet that can ask me questions, man.
Yeah.
Like, I want the questions to get to zero so they go, we have no other strings to pull on here. This case is closed. And then next year, nobody's going to fuck with me. They're not going to keep doing that over and over. If it's like locked down perfect, they're not going to do it over and over. So if you're fortunate enough to be in Bitcoin and you're at 42 grand, 32 grand, or 72 grand as an average, think about what you think this is going to be worth in 10 years. You're not securing it properly. And it's not about your seed phrase. It's actually about what happened, where the money come from. Because you're right, dude. If you think you're on chain and you got away with something, I can assure you, I know these are my buddies. They know everything you've already done. I would actually be getting a meeting with a lawyer and go and cut a deal. I wouldn't even wait for the phone call. I would literally find, and I know these lawyers, they're good. You just go to the IRS and go, I made a mistake back in 14, man. I had a little money. I'd like to make a program with you. That's much better than being Roger Ver. If you think I'm fucking with you, by the way, Roger Ver was just accosted in Spain without a passport. He rescinded his passport, to my knowledge, and they pulled him back in the United States, and they have a $50 million criminal charge against him for tax evasion. He didn't need to do this shit, dude. You do not have a $50 million problem with the IRS when you made billions.
Yeah,
And if he
exactly.
didn't
Yeah.
make billions, he was a fucking idiot, dude. They don't understand. The original people have under invested in their thesis. I think Kaiser might even have under invested. I don't think anybody really made shitloads of money in the first 12 years. I'm going to make more money and keep it than most of the people that were here 12 years before me. And that's really exciting for a traditional guy like yourself, your dad. If he could hear that, like, wow, that guy's 65, dude. He's saying he's going to make more money and retain it than the guys that bought it 300. People should be looking at this going, I'm going to tell that guy he's completely wrong. Like, I'm going to debate him until the debate's done. And then, like, I love debating people on hey, why wouldn't this happen? Because you really get through every little nuance and you're like, I don't have enough Bitcoin. That's where I end up every time, man. I don't have enough Bitcoin.
Wow.
And I'm sure that everybody listening here, you don't have enough Bitcoin yet. That'd be my encouragement.
That's why I'm steadily ching ching ching. Got to.
Yeah.
Got to.
Good for you, man. Good for you.
Well, man, yeah, I know you're a busy guy, and you know, I really appreciate your time. It's been 2 hours, man. Oh man, this has been an amazing discussion. You know, we'll have to do this again later, man. But in closing, what would you tell or what would you say to any entrepreneur wanting to maybe go the route that you're in, as far as just taking the leap and just doing some stuff?
Look, I think the best thing is to really understand yourself. This is kind of a boring. Well, I'll answer it this way. I think that we are headed toward a specific, unique, I wouldn't say an event, but kind of a period where you should be asking yourself two questions. They're really, really, really simple questions. And that is, what value do I bring my environment? Am I bringing value or am I taking value? If you are taking value, you're about to be eviscerated. If your intention followed with your actions is that, hey, I bring solutions, and there are simple things like, hey, you work for Gary, your job is to do marketing. You know, I love coffee. You know, I do these bloody podcasts. I hate getting up in the middle of the podcast and hit, why wouldn't a guy, Gary needs another coffee. Don't ask me if I need a fucking coffee. Go make a cup of coffee for me and hand it to me, dude. And like, just be a ghost. See, doing those little things. Oh, wow, we just shot some stuff outside and we left it messy. Go pick it up, man. Show that you're willing to solve problems first. And then I'm like, oh, okay. He's not asking me. I hate people writing me along. Can I help you? Yeah. Well, don't send me a long email. That'd be awesome. Just wasted my damn time. And then you want to have a phone call over it. So if you figure out, do you add value? Then if you work for someone, most certainly ask yourself this. Does this company bring value in a way that I can explain it in less than 2 sentences? By the way, all of this has to be done in under 2 sentences. You cannot do a forever and ever and not say anything, okay?
Yeah.
If the company you're working for is making a margin like Visa, 51%, and you can't explain exactly what they do and make sense of it, you should start looking for another job. So if you don't add value, start looking for another job. Seriously, because maybe you have value and skills, but the company won't let you. And then and really ask yourself, is the company, the family, my marriage, this girlfriend, are we doing something that we can explain and agree on? And I understand that it has value, because value lasts. Numbers do not last, friends. They either go up or they go down. Value, however, lasts. And people confuse value and money all the time. Human beings love putting shit down to 0.01 so they can say, I know everything, what it costs. Very few human beings know how to value something unique. And Bitcoin is the only thing. This is I promise, my last thing. There isn't one thing on this planet that's ever been finite. There's a human being listening to this that can give me one example of one thing on this planet that is truly finite outside of Bitcoin. And furthermore, the as close to unique as we can get, which is human beings being the most unique thing that's not infinite and not very easy to duplicate. Human beings want to kill each other over the differences. And so human beings do not know how to value finite, man. There are going to be people on here that, he's talking about non-self custody. What can you focus on me instead of what you disagree with? Is there anything can you focus on the good shit instead of picking to pieces the differences? It's almost like we have 2 decades of let's just pick the differences out and ensure that we have no agreement. Instead of, bro, I mean, this guy's trying to, like, Vaseem looks like he's trying to do a good job. He's gathering up people. He's got a good message. Oh, he's into some other coins. I'm not going to support him.
Yeah.
Come on, man. That's so racist. It's fucking ridiculous, dude. It's ridiculous. It's racist. It's whatever that term is. But it's just, anyway, it's an awesome time to be alive. And you don't have to have an MBA to come into what I think is going to be the wealthiest industry on the planet, dude. I mean, you're gonna. I'm almost known as one of the core experts in Bitcoin, which is insane. Okay. And actually my goal 3 or 4 years ago was, hey, I will know everybody. I will be a significant player in this space. I write a lot and I'm a relatively significant, not the most significant, but I'm certainly not going away. And to be able to do that and say that in an industry that's now attracting BlackRock and Cantor Fitzgerald and Franklin Templeton and Fidelity and every other major league swinging dick. Come on in, dude. The water is warm. It's deep. It's getting deeper. I mean, seriously, dude, this is a deep, deep pool. Absolutely. And people should not be scared of going into big, big industries. Big industries is easier to hide, man. It's easier to learn, okay? It's easier to actually make some mistakes and survive it. In a small little business like marketing, selling a skincare product, your credit card processing statement blows up or your inability to take payments and your business is dead.
Yeah.
So I think businesses can be way too small. Anyway, really good to meet you, man.
Yeah, you too. This is a great discussion. For anyone that hasn't followed this man already, make sure you go to all the socials. And man, he puts out a lot of great information. Man, it is wonderful to see someone as thoughtful as Gary to be such a Bitcoin maxi, man.
Bitcoin first. I'm not a maxi on anything, man.
Well, no, as far as knowledge and stuff, and just being a voice, a reasonable voice in this space, because not everybody has the the ability to explain things in the way you have, and there's even quite a few things that you've put into a different perspective for me that I need to take a couple look at some of the ways that I operate as well. So definitely, man, it's very appreciated. We appreciate all your info. And as always, if you haven't already, please shoot me a follow, like, subscribe for more content like this. I do this podcast every once in a while, and I have a very, very fun time doing that. And like I say, it helps out, and it's free. So with that being said, I really appreciate everybody once again. Thank you for showing up, showing out, and we will see y'all.
I don't ever slow up, no, I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no, I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness.
this. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast, I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the... Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. Yo, go, go, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit. Inside of me, you better watch out if you ignite me. The road ahead of full prophecy to be the greatest beast the world has ever seen. I feed him every